It was late afternoon when the bus stop outside Port Valor Diner turned quiet except for the squeak of a lone wheelchair. The man sitting there looked like life had already said everything it had to say to him. His jacket was old marine green, faded almost gray, his cap sun-bleached. On the patch, the letters First Mardiv were barely visible. He wasn't even asking to be noticed. He just sat, reading an old paperback, while the town drifted around him. From the gym across the street came the laughter of 4 young Navy SEAL trainees, fresh out of bud. S-phase, full of energy, not yet humbled by real combat. They spotted the wheelchair and the old man. "Hey, check out Grandpa Recon," one of them smirked. "You lose the other half of your platoon, old-timer." His buddies laughed. Another added, probably one of those stolen valor guys, "Wheelchair for sympathy, hat for attention." The old man didn't look up. He turned a page instead, as if their words were wind. But their laughter grew louder. "Hey, Marine, you deaf or just slow?" Finally, he raised his head. His eyes were pale gray, distant but sharp enough to slice the moment in half. "Neither," he said quietly. "Just deciding if it's worth answering." The words weren't angry. They were measured, calm, controlled. That tone made the tallest SEAL frown. "You got a mouth for a guy sitting down. I've had worse men than you standing over me," the old man said evenly, "and they didn't last long either." The laughter stopped. For a second, the air changed. Something cold and grounded filled it. Before anyone could reply, an older waitress from the diner called through the door. "Hey, leave him alone." The SEALs hesitated, embarrassed, and started to turn away. Then came the low rumble of engines. 3 black pickup trucks rolled up to the curb. Men stepped out, bearded, muscular, quiet. They weren't in uniform, but every movement screamed discipline. One of them spotted the old man. "Sir," he said, voice steady, "we heard you were in town. Needed to check in?" The SEALs froze. The old man gave a slow nod. "You boys still chasing ghosts?" "Always," the man replied. The waitress stared. "Who are you?" The old man smiled faintly. "Just a Marine who once taught SEALs how to fight." By evening, every stool in Port Valor Diner buzzed with whispers. The waitress, Clara, couldn't stop replaying what she'd seen. The SEALs, the same loud ones who strutted around like King's Head, left pale-faced, speechless. The old man had gone back to reading his book like nothing happened, while the newcomers sat nearby. "So, you trained SEALs." He smiled without looking up. "A lifetime ago, you don't talk like most vets," she said. "That's because most talk too much," he replied. Outside, the pickup trucks were still parked. The men inside scanned every passing car. They were clearly guarding him. At another booth, 2 mechanics whispered, "That old guy. Name's Miles Grant. Heard he ran Black Ops before they called him that. No way. He can barely walk." "Exactly. That's why he's still alive." Clara turned toward the window again. The SEAL trainees from earlier stood across the street, staring at the scene, guilt written all over them. They finally crossed over. One spoke nervously. "Sir, about earlier, we didn't mean any disrespect." Miles looked up. "Yes, you did. You just didn't expect to regret it so fast." The kid nodded, throat tight. "We're sorry." Miles studied him, then softened. "You'll learn that strength isn't noise. It's knowing when to shut up and listen." The SEAL saluted before walking away. "You didn't have to forgive them." He sipped his coffee. "I didn't. I just taught them something." That night, Port Valor slept under a pale moon. But the men guarding outside DID in single quotes T. inside the diner, Miles sat with Derek Cole, one of his old Marines, turned private contractor. "They still watch you like you're the colonel," Derek said. "I told them I'm retired," Miles replied. "They don't listen. You trained half of them. To them, you're still Iron Claw." Miles winced at the code name. That name should have stayed buried. Derek leaned forward. "The ones who buried it are gone. Except you." For a moment, neither spoke. Then the radio on Derek's belt crackled. "Movement, east side. Black van, 2 occupants." Miles sighed. "He found me. Who? Name's Keller. Used to be Force Recon with me. Switched sides when the money got good. We crossed paths in Kandahar." "Thought I ended it then." Derek's hand went to his sidearm. "You sure?" "I'm sure." Outside, rain began to fall again by midnight. Thunder rolled over Port Valor. The diner's neon flickered, Miles sat by the window waiting. Clara had gone home hours ago. Only Derek and 2 others stayed. At 12:47 a.m., headlights appeared down the street. The black van stopped in front of the diner. 3 men stepped out. Their movements were military, but wrong, too casual, too confident. Derek whispered, "That's Keller." The door opened with the chime. Keller smiled as he entered, his scar catching the light. "Miles Grant. Thought you'd be harder to find." "I stopped running years ago," Miles said quietly. "Then you won't mind dying here." Before Keller could draw, glass shattered the SEAL's pickups, screeched into the lot. Doors flew open. Men in dark jackets moved fast, weapons trained. Hell, the same SEAL lieutenant from the earlier story stepped in. "Drop it, Keller," Keller sneered. SEALs playing bodyguard for a crippled Marine. Times really changed. Hale's gaze didn't waver. "You don't mock Marines. You thank them for the road you walk on." The fight was over in seconds. Keller's crew went down clean. No wasted motion, no glory. Miles lowered his pistol. "You always did show up late, Hale." "Traffic," the SEAL joked softly. By dawn, police lights faded. The rain had stopped. Hale's men packed up silently. Miles sat outside, wheelchair parked under the diner's awning. Hale brought him a coffee. "You okay, sir?" "I'm fine. It's the first quiet I've had in years." "You could come back with us," Hallie said. "Teach again. The new generation could use you." Miles looked out at the sea. Teachings for men who still have something to prove. "I already proved enough." Hale hesitated. "You saved my CO back in Ramadi. He told us about you." Miles chuckled. He never learned to duck. Hale smiled, then grew serious. "Those kids who mouthed off earlier, they've been volunteering double time since. Guess you left an impression." Miles nodded slowly. "Good. Maybe they'll grow into the kind of men who salute before they speak." That Sunday morning, the diner filled with quiet warmth. The SEALs returned, out of uniform, carrying folded flags. Clara wiped her hands as they entered. "You boys eating or planning a ceremony?" "Both," Hale said, "but he doesn't know yet." They rolled Miles outside, to the curb overlooking the ocean. The sun broke through the clouds, lighting the horizon gold. Hale spoke softly. "Sir, the unit wanted to honor you. For everything you've done for us and for who you still are." He unfolded the flag and handed it to Miles. "Semper Fi, Marine." Miles took it with both hands, eyes misting. "And Hooja, back to you, sailor." The SEALs lined up instinctively, forming ranks. One by one, they saluted the old Marine. For a moment, time stopped: the wind, the waves, the noise of the town. Then Miles lifted his trembling hand and returned the salute. "Steady and sure," he whispered. "You boys remember this. Respect doesn't come from fear. It comes from what you carry quietly." Hale nodded. "Yes, sir." As the SEALs departed, Clara asked softly, "You'll be back tomorrow?" Miles smiled. "Only if the coffee's still terrible." She laughed through tears. The old Marine turned his chair toward the sunlight, flag folded neatly in his lap. The sea breeze lifted the brim of his cap just enough for the words "First Mardiv" to glint again, and for everyone who saw him that day, the meaning of strength changed forever.